Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Eden.
I'm Alicia.
And we're the Laughing Moms. Welcome to our channel. Before we get started, go ahead and click the subscription box below and give this video a big thumbs up.
Please.
So we're doing something a little different today. We're doing the segment called Carpool Confessions. And I have a couple of things that I'd like to talk about, and Alicia has a couple of things that she'd like to talk about, but we don't know what those are. So we're gonna kind of open up this dialogue of confessions and kind of talk each other through it, and advice, or just maybe she's going through the same thing that I'm going through, or vice versa. We don't know. So who wants to start?
Eden wants to start.
Okay. So my kids are older now, and as far as hygiene goes, they're in charge of their own showers. So my confession is, I don't know how often my kids bathe or shower. And I also don't really ask them. So the other day, my daughter was brushing her hair, and I was looking at it, and I was like, that's looking a bit oily. And she's like, how do you know? And I'm like, well, you see how when you brush it down, it sticks, and the brush strokes stay in your hair, and then from here down, and then the rest of it's it's full. I'm like, that's a good indication that you've got dirty hair. When was the last time you showered? And she's like, I don't know. So there you have it. I don't know when my kids shower or when they bathe.
Yeah.
I don't keep track. I'm not in charge of that anymore. My kids are older, so it's a little awkward to bathe them and shower them. And so anyway, I don't keep track of their hygiene that well.
Well, I'm still kind of should be the one in charge of my kids' hygiene, and I don't always know.
Oh, good. Oh, good.
Sometimes I have to think for a while, when was it? And then I just stop trying to count and just sniff them and say, go.
Yeah, the sniff method. That's what I'm going to call it.
2-day funk.
2-day funk. Check that out in the link.
2-day
Oh my
funk.
gosh, yeah.
Sometimes it could be more like 4 or 5-day funk.
2 weeks? Are we pushing the 2-week funk?
We might be. I have all daughters, and I can't imagine, from what I hear, girls are supposedly better at hygiene than boys at some stage in their lives. Mine aren't there yet.
Yeah.
It's a constant reminder.
I have 3 daughters. They're older, and my son is younger. I feel like I can smell him more, and so he probably gets more of my attention in that regard than my girls do, because he's a boy, and they just have this constant odor. It's not necessarily always stinky, but it's distinctive. It's outside play odor.
Mm-hmm.
When they're outside and they're playing,
It's almost
it's musty.
Yeah.
And so he probably gets more of my attention than my girls do. I just assume my girls don't want to smell, so they shower.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's necessarily the case.
It's not always the case. One of my daughters, constantly, I'd be like, smell your armpits. And she's like, I don't know how. I can't smell them. And I felt like the lady from Saturday Night Live. But do you want to know something amazing about people stinking? My husband never stinks. He doesn't wear deodorant, and he doesn't stink. We always thought it was kind of strange because he never stinks and doesn't wear deodorant. He's never bought deodorant since we've been married in almost 16 years now. Just doesn't need it. And he also has white earwax instead of yellow. It's not sticky waxy. It's more flaky. And he read this article recently. He saw that it's this really small percentage, something like 2% of people have this white flaky earwax instead of yellow sticky earwax. And those same people also don't have stinky armpits. It's this weird mutation that's awesome. That's his superpower. That's pretty cool.
I thought Samoan was his superpower.
He is Samoan, and that is also a superpower.
Yeah.
But he's a non-stinky Samoan.
Non-stinky Samoan.
Yeah. Extra
Well, some guys have all the luck. Okay, so what's yours?
One of my confessions is I hate laundry. That's not really a confession. You guys should know that by now if you've watched anything we've ever written. But if an article of clothing comes to me in really bad condition, like let's say hypothetically one of your kids doesn't wipe the greatest, and
I think I feel like I know where this is going.
Get in their underwear. I'm not saying this has ever happened, but if it were to happen, I might throw those underwear away instead of wash them. And I feel a little guilty about it because I'm sure some people in parts of the world would really appreciate underwear
in any state. I mean,
maybe washed.
There is a dignity level there. I mean, I feel like
because I don't want to scrub it in the sink, and I also don't want to stick it in with my other clothes that do not have poop on them. So
no, I have done the same thing, and a lot of times I'll find them not in the laundry, but like wadded up in the corner, like even next to the toilet, like behind the trash can. Like I'm not gonna find it, like, and like I don't know whose they already are. Whose are these? Oh, not mine. Those aren't mine. Like I don't know what you're talking about.
You're the one that wears this
size 10. How old are you again? I know. So I don't keep those.
Yeah.
That's an automatic out the door. Yeah. Automatic. Don't even.
Yeah.
So my second confession kind of goes along with your first. Except I don't poop my pants.
Sure.
But I generally don't wash my clothes. And part of that is because I don't do anything. I don't do anything in my regular day clothes that I feel like warrants them to be washed. Like if you wear a pair of jeans one day, does that mean that they're dirty?
It does not. Unless
I mean, obviously unless I spill, right. If there's that's right. Obvious. Like, you know, if you have small children and that's daily wear and tear, yeah, those suckers need to be washed. But like for me, I don't wash my clothes. I take them off. I set them in a pile on my chair next to my bed for a couple weeks. They probably sit there.
Air out.
And yeah, I mean, I just let them sit. And I don't crumple them up on my floor so they don't get stepped on. I don't hang them up right away. That's another vice right there. I don't hang them up. But when it is time to fold clothes, like my husband's laundry, I do every day, or you know, regularly. But my clothes, I don't wash because I don't. What do I do?
Yeah.
Did they automatically get dirty just because they're on my person? So I just don't wash them, and you know, with exceptions of a few things, you know, like workout clothes get washed, and you know, under things and things like that get washed, and if on occasion spills, stains, like whatever. But that doesn't generally happen. I don't know. I don't feel like I don't sweat a ton in my armpits. Like I don't get pit stains. So I don't really do that. So I don't wash my clothes regularly.
That could also be my confession. Also because I hate laundry. But
it like revolves around that. Yeah. Is this really that bad that I have to start a whole load? No, it's not. And crisis averted.
Some things, just so you know, like if you have like a black shirt or cardigan and it has like some whatever unknown whites stuff on it, like cake, crusty whatever, like from kids, baby wipes work really well. Or like get a towel that's not very linty and wet it, and you can just wipe that spot clean.
I use my fingernail, get it wet, and I scrape that off,
the crunchy goo off the
and
clothes.
No one will ever know.
Yeah.
And that's how I wash my clothes. That's how I do it.
And the only time I really wash jeans, if they're not stained, is if they lose their shape too much.
Yeah, sometimes after you wear them while they get loose
and
too stretched out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are just few exceptions, and then if they don't fall under those certain criteria,
they don't get washed.
They don't get washed. Back onto the hanger they go, or onto the chair for a couple weeks, and then onto the hanger.
Yep, I have that chair too. Right now, if the ironing board's up, I don't iron. My husband irons his own stuff, but if the ironing board is left up, then that becomes like the next spot if the chair is full.
Yep. You just move. The pile is moving and evolving as the weeks go by. I hear you.
Yep.
So that's mine.
Okay. I don't know that this is necessarily a confession, but it's just something I find kind of funny. So after my husband and I got married and I changed my name to be his last name, and I changed all of my information, Social Security and stuff, I started getting in the mail letters from AARP, which, if you don't know, is for like the American Association of Retired Persons or something like that.
Yeah.
And so you're supposed to be like 65 or older to get this. And we got married when I was 23. So I was very far away from 65. I'm much closer now to 65. But I still get all these notices from AARP. So I don't know if some other lady, like when I changed my name, if there's an Alicia
Little
out
do
there.
you know that someone stole your identity.
I know, at that moment. And you've been 65, and they For
took your
23-year-old
self, and they're walking around.
It could very well be. So if you're out there and you know who you are, or the other thing I thought is maybe it's a prank and like someone signed me up to be funny.
The longest prank in history. This will set her up for life.
So I literally am like all this AARP stuff. But the other thing that I thought was really funny is there's an app called Waze that many of you may use. It's for directions. My husband loves Waze. He uses it all the time. And he's like, you gotta use Waze, you gotta use Waze. I usually use Google Maps. And he's like, no, Waze is better because of all the notifications it gives and stuff. And I'm like, Waze is terrible. I don't know how you ever get anywhere you want to go using Waze. And so we both, the other day, turned on our Waze so we could see if it would say something different. And sure enough, we came up to this intersection and we knew we needed to go left. That was part of the directions we knew and understood. And his said go left. Mine said to turn right and then later make a U-turn and go left. And I'm like, see, it complicates things so much. So we sat down and looked, and I've never touched this setting. I don't know if someone did as a joke. Maybe my 3-year-old managed to figure this out.
When all else fails, it's the 3-year-old's fault.
They
no matter
figure
what.
out all kinds of
My
things.
husband does that all the time. Anytime anything is wrong, these darn kids. We never assume any responsibility for anything that goes on.
Why would we?
That's why we have children. That's where all the blame goes.
Yeah.
These kids ruin everything.
Yeah.
These kids touching this. It's always the kids. Always.
Exactly. So we look at my phone settings later, and there is a setting in Waze that says something like avoid difficult intersections. So instead of letting you make a left turn at a light, that is apparently considered difficult, too difficult.
Yes.
It wanted me to make all right turns as much as possible.
Turning left is so hard.
But I
especially
felt like,
now, you know, they have now like the blinking yellow lights
where your light's still red.
Your light, or like their light is
Straight
green and your light is green, but then sometimes it'll turn a blinking
yellow,
which is indicating like, hey, you can turn still, but turn with caution. But I'm just confused. I'm just confused by that. I'm like, that's new. This was not brought up in any sort of like, there was no mass email saying that this was going to happen. And so when it first happened, I'm like, wait, what does this mean? How I didn't understand exactly. But it wasn't red, so I was like, well, I guess I can go. I guess I can go, but like,
I'm gonna go.
Those types of things, like I wish there was some sort of way to communicate. Hey, we're changing up traffic laws a little bit here. There's now going to be a flashing yellow arrow when you want to turn left. But I must have missed that or deleted it.
Yeah.
Or went to my spam. Something.
She has some technical problems with email.
Oh yeah, I'm the
worst. She got the email. It might not
I'm
have
the
been
worst.
read anyway.
I mean, my intentions are pure 100% of the time, but the execution is, lacking.
Yeah. But anyway, I just thought it was funny that all these things happen that make me feel like someone's trying to act like I'm already very old and that I have AARP and that I can't handle difficult intersections and all this kind of stuff.
I'm telling you, like, it's a conspiracy.
Yeah, there is someone in my life.
Someone out there, like,
so if you know who they are.
Some guy in a basement with his
mug of coffee.
What can we do today?
To Alicia. So yeah, I don't know that was a great confession, but I just thought that was funny. So
your confession is really that
I'm
are 65. Surprise!
I look good for my age. Oh, that is, my mother-in-law was brilliant. She would always tell people she's like 5 or 6 years older than she is. She's been doing that for years and years. So people are always like, you look so good for your age.
That's
like,
genius.
Yeah. I may just
I'm going to write that one down.
I'm going to own it. I am an AARP.
Yep. Done.
Check.
Okay. Well, leave some of your confessions below, or give us a topic to talk about in our Carpool Confessions. It's a new segment we're going to do every once in a while, so take a look, leave a comment, see what you think. I don't know, it's our first one. Give us a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe, and notifications, the little bell
next
icon
to the subscribe
next to the subscribe button. Click that, because we want you to join in on our conversation. So
bye guys.
Bye.
Thank you.